refer to the House Committee.
Government motion. Proposed resolution moved by the Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury under the Public Finance Ordinance. Members who wish to speak, please press the Request to Speak button. I now call upon the Secretary to speak and move the motion. Deputy President, I hereby move the resolution on the agenda pursuant to Section 29 of the Public Finance Ordinance, which aims at approving the government to transfer the balance held in the bond fund to the general revenue, so long as sufficient funds have been set aside to meet the relevant financial obligations and liabilities in order to optimize the use of the financial resources. The bond fund was established in year 2009 with an aim to supporting the issuance of bonds, including silver bonds, high bonds, and Islamic bonds, under the government's bond program. Since its establishment, a total of 557.4 billion Hong Kong dollars of institutional and retail bonds have been issued under the GBP, which successfully promoted the development of Hong Kong's bond market, including through creating a regular Hong Kong dollar benchmark yield curve and broadening institutional and retail investor participation. As the Government Sustainable Bond Program and the Infrastructure Bond Program gradually replaced the GBP. No new bond has been issued under the GBP since September 2024. Over the years, the bond fund has accumulated a considerable amount of surplus from investment income. After deducting the total outstanding principal and coupon payments of the government bonds, the bond fund has a surplus of some 337.7 billion Hong Kong dollars. Nevertheless, under the existing resolution, the government may only transfer from the bond fund to the general revenue the balance held in the bond fund, if so approved by the Legislative Council, when all financial obligations and liabilities are met, that is, in May 2042, when the last tranche of government bonds matures. The 2026-7 budget mentioned that the government would introduce a resolution to the Legco to enable the transfer of the accumulated fund surplus to the consolidated account in 2026-7 to optimize the use of the surplus of the bond fund. The resolution will not affect the rights of the bondholders, as the government will make full reserve for paying the principal and coupon interest of the fund. I appeal for member support for the passage of the resolution. Thank you. I now put the question to you that the motion moved by the Secretary be passed. Members who wish to speak, and they are Mr. Dennis Leung.
Deputy President, the bond fund, as early as on 8th of July 2009, was established through a resolution of the Legco. And the nature of the resolution is to have a capital management account to manage funds raised through issuance of bonds by the government. We want to make sure to provide diversified investment tools and capital raising channels to attract more foreign capital and consolidate Hong Kong's status as an international financial center. The government bond program is gradually replaced by the Sustainable Bond Program and Infrastructural Bond Program. It has not issued any new bonds since September 2024. As at March of this year, we have seen the surplus of the bond fund amounting to 37.7 billion Hong Kong dollars, having set aside funds to meet relevant financial obligations and liabilities. And if we don't do anything, we can only make use of the surplus in 2042. Seeing the current economic circumstances and with us taking forward different development projects, and there is a decline in fiscal revenue, we need to adopt an innovative mindset to make investments for the future. We should pool our wisdom and hasten reforms for tax regimes. We should make sure that SMEs are supported We also need to make sure we boost the morale of civil service to create a more competitive economic environment for the benefit of the people. On behalf of those of the FTU, I speak in support of the bill. Dr. Johnny, we have the government moving a motion under Section 29 of the Public Finance Ordinance to move the bond fund surplus to the general revenue by the financial secretary. If needed, I support the resolution. While I support this resolution, as a LegCo member, would want to practice prudent monitoring of public finance. We need to make sure the surplus can bring about long-term returns for the city. The surplus must be used in a targeted manner. The $37 billion surplus should not only be used to meet short-term expenses. It should be used for the high-quality development of the local economy. We are now at a critical juncture where we see rapid development of AI and digital economy. We must do more in establishing INT infrastructure and attracting advanced technological talent. We should have dedicated funding for the promotion of the INT industry, as well as support for infrastructural development in the loop to create impetus for growth of future. The government bond program, since its establishment in 2000, has already completed its historical mission of promoting development of the local bond market. Since September of 2024, it has not issued any funds. It is replaced by the Sustainable Bond Program and Infrastructural Bond Program. As investors now attach great importance to sustainability and financing tools that have their roots in the real economy, we must keep abreast with the times, but we should communicate with investors that we still have solid foundations for our bond programs. There should be a high degree of transparency for the allocation of the surplus to enhance public confidence in the government in public finance. Deputy President, the resolution practices internal reallocation to release the surplus of the bond fund. Not only does it create short-term cash flow for the government, it also makes sure we have adequate reserves for future developments. I hope that the government can make good use of the resource for the development of INT and society in general in future. I so submit. Mr. Ellen Chen. The speaker is not speaking into the microphone. The bond fund was established in 2009 for the management of the government bond program to repay the capital as well as interest and related expenses. It has helped build a yield curve for the city. It also provides room for involvement of institutional and retail investors. The government bond program is gradually replaced by the Sustainable Bond Program and Infrastructure Bond Program. The government has not issued other bonds under the government bond program. As at 31st of March this year, the balance of the bond fund is $153.4 billion. Some $108 billion is for future repayment of capital and $7.1 billion is for coupon payments. We will still have $37.7 billion left over after setting aside funds for repayment of financial obligations and legal liabilities. It is only with the approval of the LegCo that the financial secretary can allocate the surplus. As the last tranche of government bonds will only expire in May of 2042, the surplus is retained in the bond fund for 10 odd years. It cannot be used for general fiscal initiatives. What the government is doing is in line with the government's initiative to make things more efficient. It is in line with what the government did earlier for making adjustments to the 36 special purpose funds. There is a condition for transfers to be made from the bond fund to the general revenue. That is, funds should be set aside to meet all financial obligations and liabilities. I believe the new arrangements would still be prudent in management of assets and liabilities. I suggest to enhance transparency, the government submit written reports to LegCo for each transfer and to list out the balances for unpaid, unrepaid loans, as well as coupon payments and the dates of transfers made and the consolidated impact to government finances. If there is a change in the external conditions causing a significant decline in the balance, the government should make sure to explain to the LegCo as soon as possible. The $37.7 billion one-off transfer is not an income. It should not be seen as an income source for the long term. It is not stable revenue. The government needs to make sure we have debt security and practice transparent finances and be prudent with its expenditure to release usable resources.
Does any other member wish to speak? If not, I will now call upon the Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury to reply, and the debate will come to a close. Secretary. Thank you, President. I will address the Council briefly. I thank the three members for their invaluable views, as well as their support for our resolution. Second, as mentioned by Mr. Chen, it is his hope that if we further apply for a transfer, we may have further surplus after setting aside the appropriation for paying the principal. So there will be other arrangement in due course. Thank you. I now put the question to you that the motion moved by the Secretary be passed. Remember, please proceed to vote. Members, please press the present button. With those in favor, please raise their hands. Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of the members present. I declare the motion passed.